AJ Lee Breaker.
Wow, that's just gonna. I feel bad.
AJ Breaker.
How about just Bron Break You? I love it. Bron Break You.
I mean, I hope that's on a T-shirt already.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm gonna Bron Break You.
I'm sure it will be.
Hey woman. Hey woman.
Yeah, some Mr. T vibes from Rocky 3. Always goes back to the Rocky series, but I mean, that wasn't even. How about the one line where even Paul Heyman covered his face is when he's like, "You're supposed to be straight edge and you look like a crackhead." Like even Paul.
Have you ever seen the bags under CM Punk's eyes?
Yes,
that's what he's referring to. He wasn't alluding to Punk does things, behind the scenes that we don't know about, or he's a drug addict or something like that. He's referring to his physical appearance where his eyes are always bloodshot and he always has significant bags under his eyes.
Yeah, he just and I was even Heyman was like, oh, jeez, oh, God. And then Logan Paul, though, loved it. Logan Paul was laughing out loud when he hit that line. But, man, and again, it's not just the words, and the words were strong. Bully, again, I love it. I love the way he delivers it because he's so excited and he's so passionate that his brain is on a different speed than his mouth. So things are getting crisscrossed and he's got to stop every once in a while to reset. I love it. I fucking love Bron Breakker right now.
I never want to hear him cut a clean promo.
Please, no.
I never want to hear him be able to go blah, 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 blah. I want that kid all over the place at all times. Just like you said, his brain is moving so fast, his mouth can't keep up. He's coming up with new ways to bury you, new ways to beat you up, and he can't get it out quick enough. It's raw. It's edgy. It sounds unscripted and unrehearsed. And there's a little part of me that's starting to wonder. And it's just going to take me a couple more weeks. Starting to wonder if they're seeing the beauty of the raw, unhinged Bron Breakker, that maybe, just maybe, they're giving him bullet points.
Maybe.
And not scripting for him.
I'd be more impressed if you told me that was scripted. The whole promo was scripted and he was able to make that delivery from words that were written for. I'd be even more impressed. You're right. The one thing we talked about when we were talking about LA Knight yesterday, the one thing that bothered me with the Kathy Kelly interview before the match was his cadence. LA Knight talked in that cadence that he talks in where it sounds like, all right, pro wrestling promo 101, where you talk in a certain cadence. That's not how people talk. When people are angry, when people are focused, when people, are unsure, you don't speak in a certain cadence. When I talk on this show, when you talk on the show, we're not talking in a certain cadence. We don't do this, talk show radio 101, No, that's not how you're supposed to talk. That's not how you relate to people. Bron Breakker was fucking furious last night. He was passionate, and he was stepping over his words. I loved it. This guy, listen, we've seen it in stages with Bron Breakker, Bully. When we saw that championship title on his shoulder, and I remember it was you and Nick on, and you and Nick came on like, holy shit, this guy looks like a champion. He looks like a champion. Now, he didn't win that championship belt, but man, does he look like a champion. With his words, with his verbiage, with his work in the ring, and with everything he's doing, dude, just stamp his card, dude. Stamp his card now, because before you know it, he's going to be main eventing a WrestleMania.
Dave, I totally agree with what you just said about Bron Breakker having no pro wrestling cadence.
That's it, man. Like you just did. It doesn't sound natural. I wish somebody who's ever involved in this in the back, Like, that's not how people talk. You can only relate to people when it's like what you do or what you hear every single day. As soon as you have a certain cadence about it, it throws me off. And instinctively, I'm going to stop listening to you. I'm going to stop listening to you because it doesn't sound natural. It sounds fake. Nothing about what Bron Breakker did last night was fake.
No, and that's the beauty of it. So whatever they are doing with Bron Breakker, keep up the great work. Bron, keep delivering. You guys are on the right track. And Dave, I got to tell you, I love this version of the vision about 172 times more than the version with Seth Rollins.
Yes, I do. I do too. I can honestly say that even though Bronson Reed is not side by side with Bron Breakker physically, it doesn't feel the same way it did with Seth Rollins. Like, Seth Rollins was a step ahead of everybody else. He was the spotlight. Bron Breakker does it in a way where he commands it, but he doesn't have to do it at anyone else's expense. Does that make sense to you?
I get it. I get a very loosey-goosey gang feel from these guys, almost like a Reservoir Dogs kind of feel. I don't know if that resonates with anybody else, but that's the kind of feel I get from them. Every one of them, if you read the body language on them when they're in the ring, all of them have different body language, yet they're all standing. What do they have in common? They're all standing in the ring together. They're doing their own thing, but they're all together. And it's got that loose gang appeal to it. And it's not like Bron Breakker has stepped up and just taken the Seth Rollins role. If that was the case, Paul wouldn't be giving. Well, that's not a true statement, because I was going to say then Paul wouldn't just be handing him the microphone, but Paul hands the microphone off to Seth also. It just doesn't. It feels like they're all sharing the spotlight as opposed to Seth having the spotlight and then letting each one of them in at various times. And I cannot say enough positive things about Logan frickin' Paul. This guy's unique. This guy's going to be a future champion in one way, shape, or form. Heavyweight champion to really piss people off. In which case, you're really going to want to see him lose that champion to somebody. But you got to go nice and slow and steady with Logan Paul. You don't want the force feed. Every time I see Logan Paul go out there, I see him take a step forward in one way, shape, or form. And he fits with these guys really, really well. And one day, Logan Paul is going to stab one of these guys in the back, or one day, one of these guys is going to stab Logan Paul in the back. I fully expect it because they're a band of scumbags.
Yeah, it's gonna, and he's the biggest scumbag of them all. And Paul Heyman's the biggest scumbag even more than
Paul
any member.
Heyman,
Yeah,
Captain Scumbag.
yeah. So a couple of things from what you just said. And I'm going to start with the latter, and that's Logan Paul. You know when Logan Paul really grabbed my attention? When he had that moment with Paul Heyman in the back. When they were talking about, when Heyman was telling Logan Paul, listen, these guys are going to have your back. And he was like, I get that. But I have their back too. It's almost like he was trying to convince Paul Heyman that, hey, it's not just about me. Like, I'm part of this. I'm part of this group. So I'm going to be there for them too. Like, I absolutely love that moment that he had with Paul Heyman. Like, we all know he has the physical gifts, and he reeks of asshole. Like, you know, when he comes out, the way he looks, the way he smirks, he reeks of being an asshole. But it's those small things that go a long way. That little conversation that only lasted about 90 seconds in the back, for me, is what really grabbed my attention last night with Logan Paul.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So the way I read that promo or heard that promo was Logan Paul was almost happy to finally be accepted. Like, you guys accept me. I've been busting my ass trying to be accepted in this business for a while. And look, I'm a part of something now. I'm a part of the vision. Paul, I just want to let you know that I got your back just as much as you guys got my back. And thanks for accepting me into this little family, this little band of brothers of scumbags. And Paul just going, and then the Paul Heyman smile like, oh, we're so happy, you dumb son of a bitch, because when the time is right, we're going to stab you in the back. But you come right in, and here's a pair of brass knuckles for you, my friend, to get the job done.
Listen, any one of those members of the Vision could get stabbed in the back. Like, you know, like that's the one thing we know about Paul Heyman is he's thinking of himself. He's not thinking of, he's picking out who's going to get me the furthest. And right now, it could be Logan Paul. It could be Bron Breakker. It could be Bronson Reed. But whoever's going to be the odd man out is the one that's going to get stabbed in the back. And you mentioned that this Vision is better without Seth Rollins than with Seth Rollins. And I totally agree.
This just, not having Seth there allows me to enjoy the Vision more openly. It seems like each one of them has equal playing time as opposed to taking a back seat to Seth.
Well, let's be honest. Bron Breakker wouldn't have had that time to do that promo last night if Seth Rollins was still in the group, because that would have been left to Seth Rollins. And I got to tell you, like Seth Rollins, we know how good Seth Rollins is. And I think when Seth Rollins come back, we're going to see probably some of the best work of his career when he does return. And we saw better promos from Seth Rollins right before he left. But you know this, Bully. We talked about it a lot on Tuesday mornings. He had that Joker-esque character. He had a cadence. It was very polished. It didn't sound, again, like we knew watching Seth Rollins on Monday Night Raw that's not the real Seth Rollins. That's a character that Seth Rollins is playing for TV. We never bought that there's any realism to the real Seth Rollins and that person that's in the ring talking on the microphone right now. With Bron Breakker, I'm not so sure. So we would not have gotten this if it wasn't for that. I totally agree. The Vision, and look, it was more about Seth Rollins. Now it's about everybody. But does that make sense? Like, you get that a lot in pro wrestling where it's like, well, I got to play the character of this. That's when you lose me.
Dave, I've been preaching for such a long time I like my wrestling more reality-based, more real, not playing a character. I don't think there's only one person that I know in the WWE that can truly tap into somebody's natural character, and that's Paul Heyman, because I watched him do it. He did it with me. He did it with Taz. He did it with Dreamer. You know, Taz was angry, but he was trapped in an outfit with fur, playing a character of an island, savage who just jumped around, and that wasn't the real Taz. Taz was angry at the world because he felt he was too short, and because he felt that he wasn't given opportunities and that he was screwed with too much. Paul was able to identify that in him, and thus Taz became one of the most credible champions of that, 97, 98, 99 time, because Paul allowed Taz to run free and call out other champions. Tommy Dreamer, absolutely useless until Paul was able to identify in Tommy that white meat babyface that was just willing to get beat up to no end just to, get those people behind him. And Paul's able to identify this. Paul can identify these traits in WWE superstars. I wish more of the natural was coming out of people. Natty. We're starting to see the real Natty. Not the beautiful Instagram bikini pool model Natty, or amazing ring gear, Natty. We're getting the stripped down Raw, Natty. Go ahead.
No, and it goes back to Bron's promo last night about CM Punk. Have we really seen the real CM Punk since he's come back to the WWE? This is not the CM Punk that a lot of fans fell in love with. They love that anti-corporate WWE rebel that was always fighting against the system.
CM Punk was at his best when he was cutting, quote-unquote, shoot promos on Triple H.
Yes.
When he was going head-to-head with Johnny Ace or Triple H or any of those other authority figures, where when Punk would talk to them, or when Punk was talking to The Rock or Cena or any of them, you thought to yourself, like, wow, that was real. He really feels that way about these guys. And he was able to say it just enough in a pro wrestling worked way where it was a very gray area. It's on my TV. I know this is sports entertainment. I know it's scripted, but holy shit, that sounded real. Punk has said a million better things than the pipe bomb, in my opinion. Punk has said things to Triple H that I was like, whoa. That resonated with me a lot more than when he waved to his friend. What's his friend's name?
Colt Cabana.
Hi, Colt Cabana. So yeah, that's the Punk that we give me a mixture of CM Punk. Give me the best of CM Punk on the indies. Give me the best of CM Punk in Ring of Honor. Give me the best of CM Punk from wherever he's been. Give me the most raw, rebellious version of yourself, because you have to go back to that, because that's the only way you're going to be able to step up to Bron Breakker. And if you don't, he's going to Bron break you.
Well, that's the thing.
And steal your wife.
Well, that's the thing. Like, CM Punk and the fans related to it, because at that time, I know we're all praising John Cena and he's going to have his last match on Saturday, but I remember when I first started this show, fans hated John Cena because he was the picture of the PG product of the WWE, and fans hated Cena for it. And it was like he was the polished, corporate, perfect Vince McMahon champion. And the fans, the real hardcore wrestling fans, hated it. And then here comes CM Punk, who is everything that John Cena wasn't. Now, it's hard at CM Punk's age when now he's come back to the WWE. It's different management. They accept him. He's been a champion. He's main evented WrestleMania. Everything that he wasn't able to get, he's now achieved and gotten. So, and we even see, when we see CM Punk, he's wearing the suit. He looks kind of like the corporate, polished wrestler himself in a lot of ways.
Does CM Punk right now remind you of Rocky Balboa in Rocky 3 right before his first fight with Clubber Lang?
Even, you know what? CM Punk's hair looks like Sylvester Stallone's hair in Rocky 3. He looks like John Travolta in Staying Alive, for crying out loud.
Wow. Shots fired.
Like, my hair. Don't touch it. It took me an hour to make.
That's Ford Fairlane. My hair. My hair.
Well, he actually gets that from John Travolta, but you know where I'm going. My hair. Like, wait a second. The full head of hair and the suit, that's not the CM Punk that we saw do the pipe bomb, with his legs crossed on top of the stage. Now it feels like, it's almost like he would put his arm around John Cena and say, hey, let's go have dinner at Tao in Manhattan together.
Oh, Tao.
Little dinner from Tao.
Little light lunch at Tao.
Little lunch.
Little crispy wontons.
Like, this isn't.
Maybe some miso soup.
Yes, but not too hot. Doesn't want to burn his tongue. So
miso soup is salty. Hot and sour soup is hot.
Yeah, that's hot.